Pro. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We got a lot of stock market updates. We got stock market news. We have my top 5 stock picks for today, and we're going to do sector rotation. So thank you so much for joining me with today's Stock Market Live. Super Bowl is over. NFL is done. We can start talking about spring training for those of us that love baseball. But let's talk about the market and all the volatility that we have. Obviously, the big headline right now is, well, actually, there's 2 really big headlines. One you probably know about. The second one you might not know about. The first one is I don't know if they're calling it an emergency board meeting, but unscheduled board meeting for the Fed today. And I guess the big question is, are they going to announce a potentially early rate hike? I'm not saying they are. Obviously, everything we talk about here is for educational purposes. We all have to see how it unfolds, but that's pretty darn interesting. And the other one, which is what caused the market to take a big hit on Friday, which is the fear of the war in the Ukraine. So the big thing, actually, for me personally right now as a professional stock trader, is we have really exciting opportunity on both sides of the market, both buying stocks and selling short stocks. So we got a lot to cover today. We're actually going to go into our spreadsheet today that I give everybody at the beginning of the week and update every day. I'm going to give you a copy of it today so that you can see the kind of research that goes into preparing to buy stocks every day. So we're going to cover a lot on today's live stream. So stick around. We'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me here, everybody. As I said, everything we talk about here today is for educational purposes. It's up to you to make that final decision. Just want to make sure I say hello to my buddy here. Where is he? John Bates. Good morning, pal. Hope you're doing well. I saw those pictures you were putting on Facebook. My gosh, that's a beautiful area where those cabins are. All right, so what else? We got John Oakes. How's it going? LJ, good morning. Good morning, LJ. How's it going? Hope you had a nice weekend. So look, I'm all fired up right now. I hope you are as well. There is a ton of opportunity. I'm just going to walk you through it very quickly. Today, this is the list of stocks that meet the perfect criteria. We're going to discuss this today. We're going to discuss sector rotation. And you can see here, basic materials has popped up to the list. Now, we here in the community have been talking about buying stocks in basic material area for a while. Specifically, we've been watching Alcoa, AA, and NUE and NEM. Those have been the top 3 basic material stocks that I've personally been watching. NUE has been on fire, really vicious move off the lows. It's kind of hovering right at that 122 level. Just to give you a quick look at, we're going to come back to the market, but let's actually go over to NUE and Alcoa, which are basically sitting right here. Now, Alcoa is a little bit stronger than NUE because the NUE has basically been stalling at this 122 area, and you can see it's actually down a little bit further now, which actually kind of takes us into one of our other ideas today, Morgan Stanley. I actually have a list of 5 stocks that I want to give you today. They're the top of my list, my top stock picks today. But I first want to talk about these 2 stronger sectors. And obviously, as we do here every day, I want you to know that this sheet that I'm about to show you, there's actually a link in the description because I want you to understand. I want to inspire you to be a stock trader, to understand the kind of preparation. A lot of what we've been talking about going back and forth here has been, if you just put 1 hour a day into that. I know there's a lot of people that, oh, just 15 minutes, don't do it, set it and forget it. Put an hour into it. That's where the conviction comes from. That's where the stocks you plan to buy and hold a little bit longer because you did the work. But this sheet, the sheet that I'm talking about right now is here. This is a sample of what I give everybody. And you can see as the week goes on, we fill it in with sector rotation. So this is the sector rotation coming into the day. We're going to talk about basic materials. Now, here's kind of like an advanced stock trading thing that you really need to be in the market to understand. The list of stocks that I have here, it's the perfect list of stocks that meet the criteria over the last month, over the last week, and how they closed on Friday, the previous trading day. So I update this list every day, and there's different stocks to buy every day. But here's the big thing I want to point out. It's one thing to have the list of stocks. Now, the list of stocks is the reference point. It's kind of the template for what's in play right now. But here's how you break it down. You need to go into the list and determine if those stocks are the best stocks to buy right now based on how close are they to the optimal entry price. So when we go into this list, you'll see that there's, as of right now, there's 21 stocks. But more importantly, is this. This is where we start to break it down and we start to spot the smart money. So remember, everything we do when we're looking to buy stocks, we're looking for the order flow. We're looking for where the smart money is already doing something, and then we're looking for how long they've been doing something. So I actually want to show you, because this is actually kind of what we provide every day, is we're actually walking through the different stages of order flow in this spreadsheet. So I guess I want to inspire you to take your game planning a little bit deeper. So you can see over here, we have the net change from Friday. Then we also have change from the open. So again, if you're a regular viewer of our channel, which I really hope you are, and I want you to know how grateful I am. If you're not, by the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button if we provide some value for you. So just Friday's price action, what we're looking on Friday is, as the day is unfolding, is today's order flow in sync with the longer term order flow. So remember, we're looking for buying pressure, or even in today's market right now, even some selling pressure if we're looking for to short. But let's take a look at buying pressure. We're looking for buying pressure from 1 hour to the next. Doesn't matter if you're not day trading. I'm just giving you the idea of how professional traders buy stock. From 1 hour to the next, from 1 day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next. So remember, let's just use somebody as an example. Let's say Joseph O'Brien. Let's say Joseph O'Brien owns a hedge fund, and he's going out there and he has to buy 1 million shares of whatever stock. He's just got to go right out there and do it. He's got to work the position so he doesn't push it up on himself and he gets the best price. So Joseph's orders, that's order flow. So what we're looking to do, we're looking to follow Joseph from 1 hour to the next, 1 day to the next. And the longer we can spot Joseph buying stocks, the easier it is for us to identify the right ideas. So that's the order flow. The second part of what we do is tape reading, which is determining where we are right now to the optimal entry. So when we take a look at this list, this is a list of stocks that meet the perfect criteria from 1 day to the next, from today's open. So that means that these had green candlesticks on Friday. But this is where stacking the order flow gets a little bit more exciting, because this is the percentage gain over the last 5 days. So that's 5 days worth of trading. And this is 21 days worth of trading. So what I'm walking you through right now is how to be a better stock picker, how to understand when you're stacking the odds in your favor. And then what we call in the community is you're stacking the order flow. So if you think about it, if we go back to Joseph's hedge fund, and when he's buying stocks, we want to know, is he starting and is he still doing it? So once we spot that, then we jot down to the reversal patterns or the entry patterns when we're now looking to buy stocks. Now, the next part, that's just finding the ideas. Now, the next part is, how do you hold the winners longer? That's a big part of trading, because raise your hand, type in yes if you've had a great trade, you bought stock and you got out too soon and it keeps going. The next part that we're about to talk about, and I'm walking you through how to use this spreadsheet and how to set one up for yourself, is understanding what sectors, and then more specifically, what industry groups are seeing buying pressure from 1 day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next. Those are the ideas that you need to be prepared for simply by having them in your watch list and then paying attention as long as they're still doing that. So this is the power of what I'm about to show you. So you break this down, and energy. And you know what? Let me actually sort this by alphabetical. So I'll just sort this by alphabetical order. And do you think that you can find some opportunity here? Look at this. Energy is dominating, and basic materials. So now we're looking at these individual stocks for today. Then we take it a step further. So what we're doing now is we're working our way through what we call the power pyramid, which is, it starts with the market. So if you think of a pyramid, the foundation is the widest part, right? So is the market obviously bullish right now? Is the market obviously bullish? If we're starting on the bottom of the power pyramid, we're looking to pick stocks today and buy stocks. Is that bottom part of the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ, is that bullish right now? Heck no, absolutely not. So we're going to work our way up to the stock picks, right? So if we take a look at the big picture, and let's just say we start out with the SPY. We talked about last week, and we need to bring in the 200 and the 50. These are the kind of widely known levels. You can see that we finally got out of this box. We were looking for it to get higher and start to trade and look for stocks to buy, but we actually broke down and went back below the 200. So if you don't know the moving averages, when we're looking at moving averages, if you know Dow theory, which is something that is in Wall Street for the longest time, invented way back by Charles Dow. Essentially, to break it down, depending on what your objective is to hold the trade, there's three different types of trends in play at all time. There's the short-term trend, which a lot of people use either the 10 or the 20 period moving average. So if stocks are above that, that's the minor fluctuations in the market. Then there's maybe the swing trading stock picks, which is if they're above the 50 period moving average. And then the long-term bullish move, which is if you're above the 200 period moving average. Now, I use simple moving averages because I just like them to be averages. There's regression line, exponential, all those kind of things, and they give more weight to the most recent price action. We just want it to be simple. How does that play into what's going on in the market right now, right? So if this 50 period moving average tells us anything above that's a good swing trading opportunity, clearly right now we're not there. We were here. October was amazing, and you can see for this 2.5, almost 3-month period, October through December. So now we're no longer up there. So again, we're stacking the order flow to build our conviction with ideas. So now we're looking at whether or not the market itself, the bottom part of the market, is obvious. So right now it's not. That's really the case that we're making. So we're working our way up. So there's the SPY. We're now below the 200 period moving average, and the SPY ETF is the S&P 500. And then we're going to take a quick look at the Qs, which has been below in bear market territory now for almost a month. And the diamonds, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, also below the 200. And I would say that this is more neutral than anything else. So what does that mean, and how does that translate into the spreadsheet of the top stocks? I'm going to walk you through that right now. So the next layer of the market is now we go up to the sectors. If the market's not out, first of all, if the market is, that's great. Then we can buy stocks with conviction, hold them a little longer, maybe have a little bit more share size. But it's not. So now we're working our way up. Where can we go find pockets of opportunity that the smart money is allocating buying to right now? So we talked about somebody owning a hedge fund before, right? So now we work our way up, and that's what this spreadsheet is for. So now we're paying attention, like, okay, energy is dominating. So now here's a super, super, super advanced tip. I don't want to use the word tip. Here's a super advanced trading preparation strategy. The stocks that I'm showing you right now in the spreadsheet, and again, you could click the link in the description. The spreadsheet's in the description. You could copy it and make a copy for yourself. Take all of those stocks in the energy sector and put them into a watch list in your trading platform. This is how you start to elevate yourself from chart reader to trader. You want to be a trader. You don't want to be the best chart reader. You want to be the best trader. Traders go after money. Chart readers go after patterns. You want to be a trader. Put all of those lists of stocks. There is 15 stocks in the energy sector. So we'll take a look at that again. These 15 stocks in energy, put them into a watch list. Now, when I say watch list, it's essentially, if we take a look at the charting platform, it's what you see over here. So this is a watch list of stocks. This happens to be the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I might have another watch list of new trade ideas. So you can see different ideas at different times when you create this watch list. So now, what are we looking for? So we recognize the market, the big picture in the market's not super obvious. We went up another layer and we found basic material and specifically energy stocks were dominating. Now, should that be a shock right now that energy stocks are dominating? And no, I mean, because of this. The more this becomes a part of every day of what we're paying attention to, that is going to lead to energy stocks and prices in the energy sector continuing to go up. So now you're reading headlines with the intention of making money, not just reading headlines for the sake of reading headlines and scrolling, while you're on the train or however you get to work. So that's the next section. So we went up one layer and we went into the sector. Now you break it down even further within those sectors, and you now look at the industry group. So this is one layer, sectors of the stock market power pyramid. Now the next layer is the industry group. And you can see oil and gas, energy and production. That is a big part of the energy sector, which is another 9 stocks. So you could even just put those 9 stocks into one watch list and have a good idea of what you should be watching. Now, how do you watch that? And how does that list translate into you having conviction when you buy stocks, holding stocks longer? Now, I'm going to make a big statement here right now, and you need to really dig into this because a lot of people don't talk this way. It's your winning trades that are holding you back. It's not your losing trades. Assuming that you have discipline to get out of stocks that you buy that don't follow through, and you're like, okay, I'm out, didn't work out, I'm just looking for the next idea the next stock to buy so we get some follow through, right? It's understanding when to hold on to good trades longer that will separate you from trading doesn't work, from I know what I'm doing. And when there's bigger money on the table, you need to recognize when the market's unfolding that way so you can hold the good situations and maybe even add to those situations. So we look over in the energy sector here. This is actually what's going on. But more importantly, over a little bit more time, this is the order flow that we've been watching. Now, hopefully you've been paying attention to the list that we've been giving everybody. You can see this is now going since the middle of December. So basically almost 3 months right now where the energy sector has been rallying. So now, as much as you can say that the market's going down, the market's not as obvious. Maybe you're even short selling stocks. We have a lot of members of our community that are, like John Bates pointed out before, we're trading inverse ETFs. So inverse ETFs go up when the market goes down. You can't say there hasn't been opportunity. I'm telling you, that's why I'm giving you this spreadsheet. Okay, I don't like to use double negatives, but sometimes you have to. There's plenty of opportunity in the stock market right now, from lower price stocks to expensive stocks. But what you need to do right now is do a little bit of extra work to find those ideas. Now, we get some people saying, well, some of these stocks are $500. Some of these stocks are $700. That's not the case. A lot of these energy stocks that we're calling out right now and giving you some ideas on right now, if you look at them, they're $54, $37, $96. And even working our way down here, $51. There's plenty of opportunity. All you need to do is just, I'm telling you, just spend that 1 extra hour understanding how to stack the order flow, understanding how to read the tape. And there's plenty of ideas. So now if we continue to work our way over, when you have those lists of stocks in your trading platform, so let's say for argument's sake, again, you take these energy stocks and you put them into one watch list. Same thing that you might do over here in your trading platform. How does that translate into bigger profits? Well, you need to know what perfect looks like. Once you understand what perfect looks like, anything that's not perfect will immediately mean conflict. It will immediately mean that everything is not on the same page. All of that money is not going in the same direction. But let's not talk about it. Let's talk about when it is perfect. Let's talk about when every one of those stocks we just told you to put into a watch list is green. From today's open, from yesterday's close, from 5 days ago, from 21 days ago. So you got the day, the open, the week, and the month. That's stacking the order flow. If that entire list remains green, those are the opportunity. Those are the opportunities to understand you got the big fish on the line. It's critical. Because of all those small losses that are part of running a business, every trader has losses. It's not a big deal. Remember, it's a business expense. It's not the pain in the butt losses that you should be focused on. As long as you're disciplined and you get out of them, it's understanding when the odds are stacked in your favor. It could be for a week. It could be for a month. And look, the XLE, we're talking about almost 3 months now at this point. Almost 3 months. These are the situations where somebody aspiring to take money out of the stock market and buy stocks and have that extra cash flow every single month, you see your account go higher on a regular basis. You need to be able to spot these situations. We're getting a lot of feedback, a lot of comments that the market's going down. I haven't had that much opportunity. What am I supposed to do when the market's going down? We've been talking about this stuff every day. We've been talking about this sector specifically every single day. There is opportunity, but remember, you want that unlimited upside that the stock market can give you. All you have to do is do that work from Sunday night through Thursday night, just 1 hour of going through, spotting where the order flow is, and then making a list. So now we're working way over, obviously, into that list of stocks that are meeting the perfect criteria. So I want to walk you through the spreadsheet because what I've given you here are the earnings for all of the stocks that come out this week and before the market opened, when they're scheduled to report, the day when they open, before or after the market closes, and which stocks. Then these are the top stocks that meet the criteria. Let me actually just sort this by number again. So it goes back to 1 through 17. So this is in the order of how they changed from the last 5 days. Okay. Then this is the sector rotation. So again, now think about what we just talked about. I'm showing you how professional traders choose to buy stocks at the right time. So what we're looking through right now in this sector rotation sheet is first we're going to find the market. Okay, the market's not in a big bullish trend right now. Then we go up one layer and we say what sectors are seeing smart money allocating buying pressure to. And right now it's basic materials and energy stocks. Then we go down a little bit deeper and now we take a look at which of those stocks, energy and basic materials, should I be looking for to be a buyer of right now. Now, the part that I want to show you next is really where you start to prove to yourself, not to me, you prove to yourself, how bad do you actually want to become somebody who makes the stock market make the money. This one thing I'm about to show you, and I've showed you this sometime in the past, and if you haven't seen it, please do me a favor, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. If this is providing value to you, you don't want to miss the education and the picks that we put out every day, because what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do is I want to inspire you to understand that this is possible, but you need to be prepared. This is possible, but you need to spend your spare time putting these pieces together. Remember what we say all the time, how you spend your spare time will dictate how you spend your future. Think about that. Do you have one 60-minute window during the day, after hours, wake up early, whatever it happens to be, to put together what we're talking about right now so you could make the stock market make you money? Is it easy? I don't know. You tell me. How much work are you willing to do? If you're willing to put in that hour, only over 1 month, that's 20 hours you just put in to going out of your way to build that side hustle, to build that skill that will hopefully translate into understanding how and when to buy stocks at the right time. All right. So that's the first part. So we're working over there now. Now what I'm going to give you is the prep work, and then we're going to get into my top stocks for today. Okay. So next is market sectors. So these are two different lists. So obviously you can see here, these are the main ETFs and the major sectors that we pay attention to. So what does that mean? Put together those major sectors into your trading platform or your charting platform. And that's the second level. So remember, the bottom level is the stock market power pyramid, is the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. One level above that, we're looking for sector strength. So that's the next list. So again, we're talking about being prepared to make the stock market make you money. So that's the second layer right there. You want to build this list out even more. This is a much wider list. So you can see if you want to really go crazy and start to make a bigger list, and you can see what they represent here. So semiconductors, we're breaking it down a little bit more from just technology, which would be the Qs or the XLK, where the semiconductors are actually a deeper dive into that. Now, the next list of stocks that I'm going to give you is a list of stocks that I've curated over the years. So, and I want to point this out to you. So if you could imagine the major ETFs, right, the major sectors, and then the leading stocks in each of those sectors. That's what this list is, okay? So if I could zoom this in a little bit for you, just so it's in the video, put these stocks into a separate watch list to gauge market strength. So think about what I'm telling you. So the big picture of the market, it might be strong. Maybe Tesla's super strong one day and it looks like the market's being held up, but most of the other stocks are negative. So let's say that the majority of the stocks are down on the day, but one stock, which is heavily weighted in a particular index, is holding it up. So that's kind of deceiving. Again, this is being prepared to make stock picks. So you put these other stocks, and again, I just want to show you where this is on this spreadsheet. You go to the bottom of the spreadsheet and look up market stocks and ETF. This list of stocks represents the major holdings of these ETFs. This is a different way of reading the market. We're going to take that a step further now. Okay, and this is again, this prep work is where the money comes from. I can't express this strongly enough. Remember, how you spend your spare time will dictate how you spend your future. If you want the stock market to make you money, if you want to be a good stock picker, if you don't want to rely on anybody else, you don't want to work for the man, and you want to have some extra money on the side, this is the way to do it. This is prep work outside of the stock market being open. You need to put this time in. So now the last piece of this puzzle is this last one here, which is sectors. So all of these stocks, you can see basic materials, there's 11. Then we work our way down into the next sector, communication services, consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, energy. So what are we doing in this list of stocks? This is the list of stocks that's going to tell us once we recognize, let's say for argument's sake, we recognize the XLE, which we just talked about before, right? So the XLE. What stocks, if the XLE represents one of the top sectors that we watch, what stocks represent the XLE that I could trade and look for buying opportunities? And that's here. So we have 17 stocks that meet that. Now, I'm also going to walk you through some of the ideas. Interest rates going up, or the specter of interest rates going up. Maybe that's what the Fed meeting is about. If you happen to miss the beginning of our call today, this is a big deal. Closed board meeting for the Fed today. A lot of people didn't know that was happening today. Obviously, you need to be aware of that. So if that is the case, again, as we've been talking about here on this channel pretty much every day, how do financial instruments, how do financial companies make their money? Well, they need to make that spread between interest rates. Interest rates is stuck at zero. There's not a whole lot of meat on that bone. Interest rates are starting to go up, or their conversation about they are raising, looks like March, possible. Who knows what's going to happen today? That difference in that interest rate is where they have their margins. So obviously that means financial stocks. So if we know that and we're paying attention to that, you now have the list to go to, say, okay, I'm looking at the headlines. I want the stock market to make me money. What is this headline telling me about potential opportunities to buy stock? Well, now that means financial stocks. So now you go over to the list and you have the list of financial stocks. Now, this is probably a little bit of a bigger list. This one's about 34. So how does that translate into ideas? Well, we've been giving them to you every day. We've been talking about Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, and American Express probably for the better part of the last 60 days. We're not predicting. We're not forecasting. We're stacking the odds. We're putting the pieces of the market together, and we're saying that makes sense. Let's start to pay attention to the order flow. And then this is where we go back to the first part of this. Which stocks meet that criteria? Okay, which stocks? So right now, CFVI in the financial meets the criteria. But if we go over to some of the financial stocks that we've been just talking about, Citigroup. Okay, Citigroup has actually been in a nice 3-week move to the upside. American Express actually had a really big breakout. And now, for those of you that are classic technical analysis, American Express is a really clean bull flag today. So we had a nice push to the upside and a nice pause. So we're looking for this to find buyers and push back to the upside. Morgan Stanley broke through to new all-time highs last week and has now pulled back, and you got a nice little bull flag here as well. So Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, American Express, those are stocks that are at the top of my list today to be looking for buying pressure to come back into those stocks, because we've stacked the order flow in those stocks over the last month, and they've created some good short-term opportunities. So we've been talking about cash flow. We've been talking about stock picks in the energy sector because those headlines are telling us that's where we should be paying attention. We're paying attention to the headlines on interest rates, and those headlines are telling us to pay attention to financial stocks. Now, what's interesting is we've not had some pretty big headlines around basic materials, but we found those ideas, what we've been talking about in the stocks that we just mentioned before, which is NUE. And look at this move off the lows. Alcoa, which again, if you didn't, one of the things I want to talk about is probably the simplest relative strength scan that you could run in 5 seconds, literally, is what did the market do today? And when the market trades down, and somebody in our community brought this up last week, and I think it's brilliant, is when the market trades down like it did on Friday, which stocks closed higher? Those stocks, even just on a one-day basis, are showing relative strength. So there's buying in those stocks. Somebody with deep pockets is stepping up and holding the bid in those stocks. So if you want to, if you're a very short-term trader and you're looking for ideas for the next day, days that the market's down, you want 2 sets of criteria, and we actually have that for you on the spreadsheet. So let's actually go back over to the spreadsheet, and we're talking about, let me actually zoom this out a little bit so you can't see it, is right here. Change from the open, and let me bring that out, and net change. So this is positive from the previous day, and this is positive from the open price, which means that these are all green candlesticks. So again, if you think about stacking the order flow, we said we're looking from 1 hour to the next, 1 day to the next. We're looking for proof. We're looking for feedback that somebody is spending money to hold that bid and push it up higher from 1 hour to the next, 1 day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next. Stop forecasting the stock market. You do not have to forecast. You just need to pay attention. But that means you got to go back to what I said before. Spend that 1 hour a day putting this stuff together so that when the market opens, you are already prepared because you have the ideas of where we spotted the order flow was moving into. So the very shortest time frame that you could be looking at is yesterday's close. Where did it close from yesterday? Was it green? Where did it close from yesterday? Is it positive from the previous close? That's stacking the order flow in two different scenarios, from the previous day's close and from today's open. So today's open, green. Yesterday's close, green. That's two. Also higher than yesterday's high. We got out of yesterday, so that's higher prices. Think about it. Something as simple as, did we get above yesterday's high? Somebody had enough buying pressure to pay higher prices than the previous day. That's three. Take it another level is, where are we from Monday's opening price? That's four. Where are we from February 1st opening price? That's five. That's five different levels of stacking the order flow where you have absolute proof from price action that somebody is buying that stock. Now, is that a lot to do? Heck no. You just need to put these pieces together in your watch list and in your trading platform prior to the market opening, so that when the market opens or when the market closes and you're looking for ideas, only then will you be able to say, okay, tell me where the order flow is right now. And those should be the only stocks that you pay attention to. When you take that and go all the way back to what we talked about at the beginning of today's live stream, where you are now paying attention to which stocks are all green at the same time. And again, we'll go back to this here because that's what's going on here. Paying attention to rotation here. Do you think having this information about a month ago, understanding and paying attention 1 week to the next and a pause, 1 week to the next and a pause, push and a pause, a push, and now we're kind of pausing with new headlines. Making the stock market make you money is a process. There's two parts of the process. There's understanding what perfect looks like. And I'm kind of walking you through that right now, just a little tiny piece of it. There's obviously a lot more behind it. But the part that is the hardest part is being ready. It's being ready to make money. And when I'm saying being ready, I'm talking about having this stuff already available, which again is this. And you have all the sheets right now. You have the tabs. Once you're prepared, then it's a question of finding stocks that still have room to go, which means profit potential. And again, what we're talking about now is elevating yourself to making the stock market make your money because you're ready. Stop thinking that you need to forecast. Stop thinking that you need to predict. None of that is necessary. All we need to do is follow the order flow from 1 hour to the next, 1 day to the next, 1 week to the next, 1 month to the next. Until we see the tape change, and that's the second part, stacking the order flow and tape reading, we stick with that until we see the tape change. I just can't say this enough. If you're watching this with me, whether it's 7:30 in the morning or you're watching the replay at some other point later in the day, I hope that I'm inspiring you to understand that while stock trading is a skill and it takes some time to learn that skill, the steps to get there are laid out for you. The only question is, how much are you spending in your spare time to make this happen for yourself? I know that's not what everybody says. It's easy. You can do it in 2 minutes. And look, you're fighting the smartest people in the world. You are trying to think along the same lines as them. And if you think you're going to do that with 5 minutes worth of work, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But you put a little bit of hours in, you start to stack your education, you start to stack your training, you start to stack your questions. All of a sudden, you know a lot more this week than you knew last week. And imagine where you're going to be 3 months from now. That's the process to being successful at what we do, and the reason that we're watching this every day together. I want to work our way over into the top ideas that I have on my game plan for today. So these are the top stocks that I'm looking at for today. So I'm actually going to go back over here. So obviously UPS had big earnings over here, giant gap up, and pulled back with the rest of the market last week. Now remember what we said at the beginning of the call. The 50-period simple moving average is that line in the sand where that's still an idea that we can consider for a swing trade. So UPS had great earnings, has now pulled back, closed on the lows on Friday, but is hovering just above that 50-period moving average support. Now, does that mean it's definitely going to stop there? No, but a heck of a lot of people are watching it on top of the good bullish earnings from about 2 weeks ago. So UPS is one of the ideas that I'm looking for today. So I'm actually looking for it to open a little bit lower, right around 210, 212. And then I'm looking for it to reverse back to the upside. Disney, very similar scenario. Earnings came out, really big move to the upside with about 2.5 weeks of buying pressure prior to that. Stalled out right in front of this 157, has now pulled back. And you can see there's some buying in here already. So I'm looking for Disney to be a two-step trade for me because there's that resistance above where the earnings came out. So I'm looking for my first piece in Disney today. And then if we trade up beyond that resistance level, then I'd be looking to add, which you can see that resistance level is right here. Okay, this is where sellers came in and did something significant last time. This is where it stopped on Thursday. So today would be the first piece. The second piece would be back above here, ultimately looking for the 200-period moving average as resistance. MGM is another one. MGM is another one where you can see here now we had a nice push and a pause, a push and a pause, a push and a pullback. So MGM, I'm looking for buying to come in, and I'm looking for it to, at the very least, take out this $49 to $50 level. And one that we called out last week, which is Philip Morris. Hopefully you've been paying attention to this one. Again, when the world gets a little bit chaotic, what are people doing? Smoking. There's, you can put those pieces together, and that's a pretty interesting one to keep an eye on there as well. So also working our way up, we want to make sure that we keep an eye on the ones that have been strong, which has been Alcoa, Newmont Mining, and NUE, which is back in that sector rotation spreadsheet that we've been looking at. Now, what's interesting is we do get a lot of people asking us about short selling opportunities, which means you make money when the market goes down. You can either short sell stocks as the market goes down if you find bearish order flow where there's supply dumping on the market, or you could buy inverse ETFs, which we talked about before. Inverse ETFs go up when the market goes down. So if you're not comfortable short selling, we have a lot of people in our community who are buying inverse ETFs when the market goes down. Or if you trade options, you can buy puts. And those are opportunities when the market goes down. So we also have some opportunities on the short selling side of the market today as well. And short selling is new to you. Definitely do some learning on it because it's a little bit different than buying stocks. So stuff on the other side of the market today. PayPal is still a short sell. PayPal is continuing to grind to the downside. Etsy as well. Got a really nice push down and a pause, push down and a pause, push down and a pause, push down and a pause. So the next move we're looking for here, Meta Platforms has not recovered from earnings. It's still actually looking to push to the downside. AFRM also has not recovered from the big moves last week and is resting right at a support level. You can see earnings came out early and we're resting right at that level, which is a big level, so below 45. Now, if you remember what we talked about just a couple of minutes ago, we were talking about stacking a sector of stocks. And as long as those stocks are all green together, you can hold on to that because order flow is giving you clues to where we should be looking to buy stocks. Well, right now, we're going to talk about a sector on an industry group, specifically on the other side of the market, that is showing a lot of selling pressure. And if you understand short selling, these are potential opportunities to look for short sales. And what I'm talking about right now is the home building sector, the home builders on the short side of the market. So we're looking at Lennar. You can see there's been selling, right? There's been selling here. It's resting on support here. Pulte Homes, another one, right? You go through the sector here and you look for ideas. Toll Brothers. And you can see there's been a lot of selling since December started. So what does that mean? Is the housing market cooling off a little bit? I don't know. All I know is those stocks are being sold pretty heavily, and those are home manufacturers. So what does that tell you about new home sales if these stocks are not performing well? And actually, Lennar actually came out with an announcement of a dividend about a month ago. The stock gapped up, and it's been selling a 50% increase in the dividend, and the stock's been selling off lower since then. So what does that tell you? Somebody with a lot of research is selling into that group right now. So if you like home builder stocks right now, you need to see the order flow change in the way that we talked about before if you want to be a buyer of those stocks. So look, this is a lot of fun. I love doing this every day. I want everybody to know how much I appreciate it. Yeah, Franz, actually, you know what? That's actually a really good point. That's a super good point. So Franz is bringing up a really good point here. So again, remember we talked about reading the headlines, and is that headline a potential news story? So this is fantastic. This is why we have community. That's absolutely fantastic. Again, we were talking about financial stocks going up with interest rates going up. Now, what industry groups would be hit if interest rates start to go up? And obviously, mortgages going up is going to definitely affect whether or not people are going to be looking for houses. I mean, they're still at pretty low rates, but Franz is 100% correct. So it's kind of fun, isn't it? We're putting the pieces together. Like, what does that headline mean? And is that an opportunity? Then you go over and you take a look at the order flow. It's really a structured process, but we need time together to understand how to do that in great markets, bullish markets, bearish markets, sideways markets. That's the skill part of trading. So what we're talking about right now is just setting up the opportunities. The skill of navigating each of those different market conditions is really where we need some more time together. So thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you being with me. I have to head out. We got to get ready for our other call. If you have any questions, absolutely leave a comment below this video. And if you want to join me in the boot camp, click the link below. There's information about that too. If you want to be with me every day and get into this in a lot more detail. Have an awesome day. Do me a favor, subscribe and smash that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.